Good afternoon and welcome to the North American Bear Center. It is probably about 70 degrees in Ely, Minnesota right now, and I would like to invite everyone at the Bear Center to come join me out on the observation deck or to our viewing window down below. I would ask that everyone that comes out to the observation deck please remain quiet because we have Heidi, one of my coworkers, out in the enclosure, and she is trying to find our 18-month-old yearling named Holly. Holly Bear is very, very sensitive to noise, and so we just ask for you to remain quiet while we try and get her out in front to view her. Our enrichment is at 11, 1, and 4 o'clock. This broadcast is worldwide, and that is brought to you by many, many worldwide volunteers from all over the world. Oh, PTZ driver, Holly Bear's to the left, coming over with Heidi to the left of the falls. And one of our volunteers I'd like to mention is our PTZ driver. That is a person from somewhere around the world who is operating our pan, tilt, and zoom camera. We have other cameras as well. We have one live on Holly's den and one on Ted Bear's den. We have been trying to get Holly Bear more used to coming down in front of people like this, used to people's smells and noises, and also the other bears. So right now Holly Bear is the only bear out in the enclosure. Our other three are locked in their pens. As you may notice, we have an employee, Heidi, out with Holly Bear, and we refer to Heidi as Mama number 1 because Holly Bear has bonded the most strongly with Heidi and has the deepest trust connection with Heidi. Heidi is feeding Holly Bear right now some red grapes and peanuts in the shell. We have given Holly a cube, and in that cube we have peanuts out of the shell and some dry cranberries. And as you'll notice, little Holly Bear can manipulate that box very well with her little paws, her nose, and her tongue. This is not unlike what other bears in the wild would have to do to get their food. And we do this to demonstrate the dexterity black bears have, simple problem solving, and how they would actually have to look for their food in the wild. Holly Bear was brought to us in 2013 in December, so she's very recent to the North American Bear Center. She came to us from Arkansas, where she was separated from her mother by a forest fire. She was then taken to a rehab rescue facility where they deemed she could not be released back to the wild. That is when we received her in December, and we instantly tried to get her into hibernation. So she's still fairly recent. She is still getting acquainted with the enclosure, which is about 2.5 acres total, and the other bears here. Like I said, we have 3 other North American black bears here at the North American Bear Center. We have Lucky Bear, who is our 7-year-old male, and he is about 336 pounds. He is our local comedian and a very curious and smart bear. The other male we have here is Ted Bear, and he should be coming out probably in a few minutes. He weighed in at about 549 pounds a few days ago, and he is our charmer. He's just a little love bug. He loves people and is a very sweet, sweet bear. We also have Honey Bear, who is the oldest bear we have here at the North American Bear Center. She is 18 years old and about 386 pounds. She is our cinnamon phase black bear. So if you get a chance to see her, she may look brown and cinnamon, but she is in fact a North American black bear. You may also notice that Heidi has some very fashionable rain boots on and is standing in the water. And that's because we were trying to get Holly also acquainted with the pond we have here. Yesterday at this time, she got in about chest deep but she did not swim, so we're trying to get her to swim and see if she'll get further into the pond. Our other bears here frequently use the pond, especially at this time of the year when it's getting kind of hot and they still have their winter coat. Black bears are excellent swimmers, and they can outswim, outrun, and outclimb a human no problem. We also have a nice little rubber ducky in our pond, and Lucky Bear especially likes to play with this rubber ducky when he goes and swims around in the pond. Yesterday, Holly Bear, she came out for the 11 o'clock enrichment, and she actually climbed that tree right in front. We call it the pat tree. She climbed probably about 30-40 feet up, and was actually manipulating the rope that's connected to the little square that had food on it. This is the first time we saw a bear climb up that high, or that Holly has climbed that tree. And it was very, very exciting. And it just goes to show how much improvement we've seen in Holly. Like I said, we got her from Arkansas when she was very young. And we got her and she was a very frightened, timid little bear, very scared of people. And so the staff here has put in hours and hours, days and weeks of time to try and help Holly build her confidence and trust. And the first time she came out into this giant enclosure was May 30th. So since then, so about 2.5 weeks, she's come all the way down by herself. She's getting used to the sounds of people. We've had large groups on the decks. She's getting used to the smells. As you can see, she still looks to Heidi when she senses something she doesn't understand or when she's frightened. But she has gained a significant amount of confidence, and we hope to continue to build that confidence and trust in little Holly Bear. Alright, let's see if she'll go for a little swim. One other thing we have noticed with Holly Bear that we haven't really noticed with the other bears is that she's very responsive to her reflection in the windows, to our observation windows. Just this morning we got Holly Bear out to feed her, and she was kind of peeking around, looking in the window. And she must have seen herself because she looked directly at it, kind of paused, and looked a little confused. So we're still trying to work with her to get her more comfortable in this setting, to the point where we can just call her name and she will come down without the help of her surrogate mother, Heidi. Black bears have excellent long-term memory, and the other bears we have here will respond to our names. They associate our voices with food, and so let's say if we call Lucky Bear, he'll usually come to where we want him to go. Now this is a different story in the morning. We try and move Lucky around 8:30 in the morning, and he is just usually not ready at that time. We find him usually in one of his day beds. He's stretched out and yawning. As you'll notice, Holly Bear is kind of hiding behind the pat tree and checking out Ted Bear. Now Holly Bear, for you folks on the deck may have heard her made some vocalizations, some huffing, and that is a very normal response, especially from a yearling. And also her climbing is another very normal response that a bear in the wild would also do when they detect danger, are frightened, or see something they don't really understand. Black bears from a very, very young age learn to climb trees, and it is their biggest defense mechanism. They'll climb first and ask questions later. For those of you on the deck, I'm sure you can see Holly Bear's long little claws, and they are adapted specifically for climbing trees and ripping open fallen logs. Holly Bear is an excellent climber, and as you can see, she's keeping an eye on Ted Bear. Holly is only 84 pounds, and compared to Ted, she's 550 pounds. You might suspect she's a little intimidated. Ted Bear, however, doesn't really seem to take any interest in Holly, or we haven't really seen that yet. Now in the wild, a bear Holly is aged about 17-18 months would be on their own. Around that time is when family breakup occurs, And so the mother bears pretty much kick out their cubs and will actually even chase them and charge them out of their territory. So cubs get chased out when they're yearlings, about 18, 17 months, and they spend a lot of their time in trees. And they get treed by many other bears. They're kind of on the bottom of the totem pole. They eat last usually. And as you can see, she's coming down the pat tree. She's probably sensing that Ted is not so much of a threat, and she has Heidi for safety. However, she's still very hesitant. Ted bear is to the far right, laying down. And so I'm sure she's detecting that he is not a threat. Honey bear, though, our 18-year-old female, will not hesitate to chase Holly up a tree, and has done so multiple times. North American black bears live in a matriarchal society, so whatever the female says goes. Holly bear is still a yearling, like I said, and on the bottom of the totem pole, though. So in the wild, she would be treed by females, and those females will treat her regardless, even if they're related to her. As you folks on the deck may hear, Heidi is speaking to Holly, trying to calm her down. And she's climbed back up the pat tree and has reached the platform to get those grapes and nuts. Once again, this is not unlike what black bears would have to do in the wild to get the food they need. Black bears always climb up head first and climb down rear end first. And as you can see, Holly does not even seem winded by these climbing excursions. Now, Ted bear doesn't really climb anymore, or doesn't climb at all, actually. Honey, our 18-year-old female, doesn't climb either. However, Lucky bear, our 7-year-old, still thinks he's a little yearling cub. And a few days ago actually, he was caught climbing some quaking aspens in our enclosure, so he's still a climber. Holly bear is definitely a climber, but our older two bears, Ted, who's 17, and Honey, who's 18, do not climb anymore. Now, the first time Holly saw Ted, she instantly ran away. And now, as you can see, she did climb, but now she's coming down, and with the support of Heidi, and you folks on the deck being very quiet, which I'd like to thank you again for, she's becoming more and more comfortable with Ted. She still seems a little unsure. As you may notice, her ears are kind of going back and forth. And black bears have an excellent sense of hearing and rely on it very heavily to detect danger and identify what things are in their environment. They also rely heavily on their sense of smell, and actually have an extra organ on the roof of their mouth that aid in their sense of smell. And it far, far exceeds human sense of smell. So hearing and smelling are two very important senses black bears have, like I said, to detect danger and identify what things in their environment. So color helps them see what food is available, if fruits are ripe, to see what things are, to find their cubs, to see where black bears are, things like that. Now, black bears, Heidi was feeding Holly some grapes and peanuts. And in the wild, black bears eat mostly vegetation, so grasses, clovers, things like that, as well as berries and nuts. Only about 10% of a black bear's diet is meat. And here at the North American Bear Center, we don't feed our bears any raw meat. The protein they get from us comes in the form of a raw egg, and the nuts we give them as well. Otherwise, in the wild, protein comes from immature insects, so bee and ant pupae are black bear's favorites. Heidi mentioned earlier today that she saw a little holly bear eating some ants off of the white pine to the left we have in our enclosure. And that is a tasty treat for black bears. And we're happy to see that holly bear does eat some wild foods and is foraging for ants. We also feed her some romaine lettuce in the morning, sometimes some carrots. We give them a whole host of fruits, including apples, pears, kiwis, red grapes, plums, peaches, watermelon even. Ted Bear loves watermelon. We also give them nuts, so lots of peanuts in the shell, peanuts out of the shell, mixed nuts, almonds, Brazil nuts. Our bears love Brazil nuts. And so they have a nice, healthy variety of foods. And actually, holly bear here, we still give a bottle. And in that bottle is a formula made to mimic what a black bear mother would be giving and her cubs. That also provides a bonding opportunity between Holly and the person giving her her bottle. And we believe that one of the main is that Heidi has bonded with Holly. We also use it to move if we want her to. It's a good one. Loves her bottle, and in that form, dirt, a whole host of vitamins, some oils to make her coat nice and pretty, egg yolks, and so she's getting a nice, healthy formula. And when we first received her, we gave her about 10 ounces, and now we're cutting it back down. Because like I said before, in the wild, Holly Bear would not be with her mother anymore and would not be nursing. She would be kicked out and on her own and have to forage for her own food. Holly Bear also has a tendency to bite off branches and pull them down. And we think she does this sometimes when she wants to play, and sometimes when she's nervous. It also helps her kind of maneuver around the tree, and as you can see on this pat tree right in front, these branches aren't very big, but they can still support little Holly Bear. On behalf of the North American Center, to thank our worldwide volunteers who have put in our camera. I don't know what this bear center would do without our worldwide volunteers. We have it yet here in Ely, and also at 4 p.m. Our broadcast will be worldwide as well. And visiting the North American Bear Center are open till 7 o'clock p.m. tonight. And the little sticker you have is a full day pass, so feel free to leave, grab some lunch, go check out some cool shops we have in the Ely area, and come on back before 7 o'clock. Once again, thank you, and enjoy your time here at North American Bear Center. Thank you.